So you remember Karen's talk from last Monday? She talked about kind of a personal look at something that I feel strongly about, which is gender equality. Today I have sort of an academic approach to the same topic. As a teacher, one of the things I like is that over the years I get to see changing styles. And today I'd like to let you in on something that I've been thinking about for a while: gender roles, clothing, and this precept. So first, I'm going to read you a little kid's book. Can we actually get the lights down so people can see? This was written about the time that I was born. I'm glad I'm a boy. I'm glad I'm a girl. Boys have trucks. Girls have dolls. Boys are strong. Girls are graceful. Boys are doctors. Girls are nurses. Boys are policemen. Girls are meter maids. Boys are presidents. Girls are first ladies. Boys fix things. Girls need things fixed. Boys can eat. Girls can cook. Boys invent things. Girls use things boys invent. Boys build houses. Girls keep houses. Boys are grooms. Girls are brides. Boys are fathers. Girls are mothers. I'm glad you're a girl. I'm glad you're a boy. We need each other. Does this seem objectionable to anybody? Fortunately, I think it was written as satire, but it's expressing views that were probably unspoken and didn't need to be taught in the previous generations. So I've been thinking about gender equality as a value and how it's expressed, especially through clothing. One way cultures express their values is through clothing. People wear different clothes for different roles. If you need help at a store, you find the colored polo shirt, right? Formal uniforms express the prestige of different positions, from janitor to judge. And informal uniforms, informal dress functions as a uniform as well. And it's clear in this scene what the roles are. From the cop who has the official uniform on to these guys who, they're wearing uniforms as well. In the book, one page makes it clear that clothing is linked to gender roles. Boys are handsome, girls are beautiful. And look at the different dress that they're wearing. Looking at a photo like this, from the clothes I wonder about the roles of men and women in this culture. The guy pushing the stroller makes me wonder if their personal roles are a little bit different from the cultural roles. These Indonesian kids, who are also Muslim, are conforming to the cultural roles of dress, but they look less different and more like equal friends. When men were doctors and women were nurses, it was clear who the authority was. The little hat helps you tell. Today, medical garb isn't gender-based, and men and women can be doctors or nurses. So here's Karen and me. Do you see anything odd about this picture? Just that our heads are switched. So I like to call this the reverse test. And we get so used to seeing inequality that it becomes hard to see. But one thing you can do is you can reverse who is in which role. And it becomes clear whether things are equal or not. Clearly, the roles of men and women at the Academy Awards are not identical. So what can dress tell us about the development of gender roles in America? I thought we'd go on a little tour back to the 1890s, when the suffragettes were fighting for the right to vote. They didn't want to appear too radical, and as a practical matter, they kind of dressed traditionally, even though they were fighting for something which was radical at the time. By the 1920s, 1920, the 19th Amendment passed, and women got the right to vote. And women were dressing more modern, but it's still distinct from the way men dressed. It's interesting to look at swimwear over the years. 1920s bathing suits are quite modest. For guys, too, it's pretty normal to wear a top. By the 1940s, this rural couple visiting New York City dressed really traditionally. But during World War II, women took on new roles, and they worked men's jobs while the men were at war. And we see men and women wearing similar clothes when they're doing the same work. When the war was over in the 1950s, change was not instantaneous. So we look at these sixth graders, and they're still being dressed pretty traditionally, the girls in dresses and skirts and blouses, and the guys in pants. And some young adults from the same era. Swimwear changed quite a bit. It's interesting that it's the guy who's the most uncovered. The seeds planted in World War II flowered in the 60s, when the kids of moms who'd worked during the war started to make their own decisions. And we see women starting to wear pants outside of work. You look at kids in the halls, and they're all in jeans and androgynous shirts. And you do the reverse test on this group of friends, and it wouldn't be strange at all. So here's some sixth graders in the 1980s compared to the 50s. Everybody's wearing pants and sweaters. And this is the same time that young women fed up with these jeans that were cut above the belly button just started going to the store and buying guys' Levi's. And then the fashion industry kind of had to catch up. Now, sixth graders, granted, aren't the pinnacle of cool and style. But these high school students who are about my age definitely are trying to be cool. And notice what they wear to dress up for the dance. So the 90s, I graduated from high school in 91, and I found, researching this talk, I found a picture of my graduating class walking out to graduation rehearsal. And it just struck me how the two genders are dressed very similarly. Everybody's wearing long shorts, jeans, t-shirts, tank tops, button-downs. You see everything on guys and girls. And the early 90s comes grunge, which is kind of the conjunction of male and female fashion. And I think girls felt entitled to be whatever they wanted when they were dressed this way. So what's happened since then? You look at guys, some guys in Golden Gate Park, don't look so different than 10 years before. The girls? Wait a second, what's happened? And I see a pattern emerging of a new kind of gender difference. Women once were restricted to being housewives, or if they weren't married, maybe one of 4 jobs. They could be a teacher, a nurse, telephone operator, or secretary. But I wonder if the new role that's emerging is just to be attractive. Why is a V-neck or a slightly unbuttoned shirt enticingly revealing on a guy? But for a woman to get the same effect, she has to show a lot more. I don't think low-cut shirts are going to be seen on guys anytime soon. I suspect that guys feel free to wear what they're comfortable with. And it seems like girls maybe have been convinced that they need to wear what they want to wear is what straight guys want to see them wearing. So check out the shorts you can buy at Urban Outfitters. Guys get a 12-inch inseam. Gals get a 1-inch inseam. This doesn't seem like equality to me. And it's got to be frustrating if you're trying to stay in the dress code. So, recent fashion show aside, I doubt straight guys are going to go along with fashion that exposes them in the way that women are exposed every day. This looks pretty bizarre, but would it really look that weird on a female model? So how do women get convinced that their job is to look sexy? It starts early. Look at the roles from this poster that was around the city a few months ago. And the message continues through messages that are everywhere. I did a Google image search for policeman, and these are the images. It'd be great to show a little kid who wants to be a policeman when he grows up. Here's the search for policewoman. And this is not one site that's objectifying women. This is what Google says the most relevant results are for that search. It's the whole internet. So I actually like it when kids show some rebellion. I think it's healthy. And it worries me that kids rebel against the dress code rather than against the fashion industry that wants to make them feel bad about themselves so that they'll buy more stuff. Think about what values you want to rebel against and what ones you want to stand for. So what can we do? Girls, women, demand to be taken seriously for your mind, your strength, and your abilities. Going along with media expectations of what women are supposed to look like just reinforces the idea that the only power women can have is through sex appeal. And if you're attracted to women, don't buy into the false expectations of what women are supposed to look like, or you'll be forever disappointed with real women. None of the images you see in the media are real. They're photoshopped like this one with that impossibly thin waist. Be conscious of those expectations and fight against manufactured desire. And let yourself be attracted to more things than looks: personality, brains, toughness, so you can have relationships that satisfy more than your lust, relationships that aren't superficial. Finally, talk about this topic with your friends and educate yourself about how media manipulate teen culture and how women are portrayed in advertising. And these are 2 videos that you can find in the library to learn more about the topic. Thank you.